and welcome to Citizens Congress on Afrocentric TV. This is where we break down the legal and civic issues to empower diaspora communities in shaping our lives here in the United States and to provide you with the clarity you need to make informed decisions. My name is Busayo Fashidi. I'm your host on Citizens Congress. I'm also an attorney in the local Houston area. With me today, I have to my right here a veteran attorney. Her name is Attorney Chinwe Chidonwogu. And also here to my left is someone who is he's not a stranger to the Afrocentric TV. He's a host on one of the TV shows. His name is Kolawole Akinmuyiwa. Thank you for coming over today. Today we're going to be dealing with issues centered around immigration law. Before we go into it, I want Attorney Chinwe to provide more information about herself, her legal services, her expertise, and everything. So that way we are comfortable with gaining the knowledge that we want from her.
Thank you, Busayo. My name is Chinwe Wango. I'm a licensed attorney in the state of Texas. I've practiced for 16 years now, and my area of focus is immigration law, which is a passion project for me. As immigrants, it's something that I think we all should be conversant with. But for me, it's a passion project. I care about immigration issues. I'm also practice personal injury law, and of course, tax litigation and representation before IRS. My law office is the area law firm. My office is on Southwest Freeway, 9301 Southwest Freeway. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Do you want to say something before we dive right into
I'm just a citizen here to defend the rights of the people. I'm just playing. But yeah, of course, my name is Kolawole Akinmuyiwa. I am your host on my community on Afrocentric Television here as well. But today it's about immigration. I'm representing the citizens here. Just for us to have a know-how of, what to do, how to go about things, our rights, and, and just to learn some more about what's going on here in the United States, Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So everybody, at least if you're here in the United States, you probably heard of the different enforcement that is going on and also the different changes that has been happening with regards to the USCIS, the processing times, how applications are being decided, travel bans. There's so much thrown at us at once. So what we want to achieve today is to at least gain some understanding, of what exactly the current trends are. So I'm going to start with Attorney Chinwe. So from your perspective, what are the most important immigration challenges or changes or trends that people should be paying attention to right now?
Well, I think the current administration is shifting towards enhanced enforcement. So they're utilizing tools, AI tools, to assist them in enforcing immigration policies. We're seeing things like stricter standards for things like asylum, and there's a detention surge. They're focusing on detaining people. They have expanded the capacity to detain more. I think we're looking at over 150-something thousand.
Oh, wow.
They're moving away from commercializing it to now government owning some of those detention centers.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and so those are some of the things we're seeing. Vetting using AI tools and doing digital vetting. So when you have as an immigrant, when you have documentations, you need to make sure that it's consistent. Because with an AI tool, things can be cleaned up easily. We're also requesting things like access to your digital space, your social media space. So 5 years, so they come through, and so there has to be consistency across, and then even in forms, changes in the forms, changes in fees. It's just a whole lot going on. They're charging more, and then the forms are being strictly enforced. So you have to make sure that, I think, if you take away anything from today's conversation, is the need to be consistent and across everything you've done with immigration, because within 2 seconds now, if there are discrepancies, they will be picked up and there will be a reason for denial.
So have you been
of the
seeing that
application.
like in your practice?
Yes, I mean, with things, especially with adjustment cases where you see public charge, you know, prior to 2026, public charge section, you could just,
And
just
just for the people that don't understand, can you just give us an idea what adjustment is and public charge?
Okay, adjustment of status is when you want to change your status from one status from a non-immigrant status to an immigrant status. It can also be from two different status changes. But what I was trying to reference is for people that want to change to an immigrant status. So the U.S. government wants to make sure that you're not a public charge to them. That includes your spouse not being dependent on government public resources. So prior to this period, you could submit a form and skip some sections, but now they're returning them for just a failure to check, just a simple, and they'll just return. They're also returning forms because of the constant changes in fees. Sometimes people make mistakes and send them the wrong fee. They're also returning some of those packages for not properly paying. And then also there's a change towards fees. Now it's credit cards only. So
So you can't even send anything with a check.
No, you can't send anything anymore with a check. So you have to have either a credit card dedicated for that, or even with law firms, you have to find a way to make sure that you're separating those payments, make sure that at the time, because you don't know when they will charge the fees when you mail in. So you have to make sure that there's sufficient funds in those accounts to make sure that the files or the packets are not returned to you.
Thank you. Do you have any?
Yes. So
you're seeing on the field as a citizen.
Hey, so she's talking about the immigration changes and trends, right? I love the fact that she mentioned the social media. A lot of people, I mean, I've seen people that it happened to. You apply for anything, they will ask you now. Even yesterday, I was talking to a friend out there in Nigeria, and we're talking about even if you have to apply, although they stopped issuing all of those things, but then they still ask you for a social media handle. So if you're not consistent, just like she said, I think there's a case against you already. So there's a possibility that you're not going to be getting it. And then and she's talking about access up to 5 years, right? And at the airport as well. Again, social media has everything to do with this. You're going through the line. They can ask you to submit your phone, right? They can comb through your phone. They find something explicit or something that is against the government or whatever. That is on you, right? And we talk about I-30, adjustment of status and whatnot. Maybe we need more clarity on that. Maybe on another episode or whatever. But then public charges, people. So if I'm filing now, this is just for me, my understanding, of course. When people are filing now, if they have a misdemeanor, should they be concerned as an attorney?
If you're a U.S. citizen, the concern shouldn't be on you. But yes, if you're an immigrant, yes.
Even as a misdemeanor, it used to be a felony.
No, that's a misconception people have about these things. Okay. That it has to be a certain thing. But the key is to not lie on that form. So because if again, they're deploying AI tools. So if you skip it or you refuse to disclose it, or you make a misrepresentation about what that charge is,
Mm.
then it's a problem. That means you've made a misrepresentation on a government form.
Right.
So what is key is not necessarily to focus on whether you'll be disqualified, but it's also good to talk to an attorney so that a thorough review is made as whether to advise you to move forward or to pause. But the key is to make sure that you're consistent. I've used that word
Yeah,
consistently
Consistency,
because
yeah.
yes, because now they're taking it up a notch where they're looking at some of those inconsistencies and using it as a basis to deny applications and petitions. So the crime, if you're the U.S. citizen and you're the one, I think the only crime that bars a U.S. citizen from assisting an immigrant from adjustment is when there's a crime against a minor. That is a sexual crime conviction. That's the only thing that bars a U.S. citizen. But if it's an immigrant, then whatever the crime is, whether it's misdemeanor or felony, the key is to come forward with that information
So,
and see whether there are waivers, because even if you've made that mistake, there could be waivers to cure that mistake.
okay.
Yes,
One of the things you mentioned is the changes in the fees and all of those things.
Yes.
So, and I do understand that once you send your money in, it's non-refundable,
that's right.
right? So, so people should be aware that, you know, before you send it in, make sure you send in the right amount. You know, it's not. Is it that you're going to be paying the difference?
No, if
of
it's a wrong
whatever?
amount, they return your packet to you. So there's a delay in processing. You understand? So if let's say at the time you filled out the form, it was say 1,002, right? And now it's 1,006, and you sent in 1,002, right? They'll just send it back to you. They're not going to accept that packet because
But what about the
fee.
payment is gone though?
No, the payment will be returned to you. It won't be
As
charged.
well, okay.
Yes,
That
your
will be
packet
charged.
will be rejected.
Okay.
It's a rejection.
So you have
to go
redo
back and
okay.
redo it.
And send the right
Thankfully
amount.
so.
But I think with regards to fee, what we should focus on, I think, is what is currently going on, which is that there's a ban on 75 different countries, right?
That's correct.
It's supposed to be a temporary ban, and there's some with permanent ban. But what we're saying is, even with that ban, they're still collecting the money, and those cases are not being processed. So yet, hopefully at some point. But it's leaving people in anxiety and not knowing what is going to actually happen.
Do you think it's still worth processing or sending in your applications for this, or would you advise people to wait?
I think it's on a case by case basis.
Okay.
Yeah. I think because the current administration, they're putting people that have overstayed their visa in removal proceedings.
That's correct.
I would rather you have it pending and not being reviewed. Because if it's pending, right? You're not overstaying in court, than for you to not have anything unless you want to continue to file for an extension on say you came in with a B1, B2. But there's a limit to how far you can extend. So there's a shift towards the previous administrations used to focus on crime to put you in removal proceeding. But this administration has expanded it to include visa overstays, and even applications that are denied or rejected, they also quickly put in removal proceeding. So we're seeing a lot of emphasis and shift towards removing people from the U.S.
Okay, we're still going to talk a lot extensively on removal proceedings. So before we end our episode for today, are there areas where you're noticing increased scrutiny or higher standards in applications?
Yeah. Where I think the key areas that I think is in adjustment, people family petitions. But we're also seeing heightened scrutiny on H1B, and then we're also seeing on EB visas, especially NIWs. So there's generally across board. Yes.
So even for applications from non-travel ban countries.
Yes, even from applicants from non-travel ban countries. There's like I keep saying, the shift, and I think the shift started, if not late last year, early this year, towards enhanced vetting. So the H1Bs, they're deploying officers to go to the field to check for fraud.
Oh wow.
Yes, and a lot of raids are happening in offices, and people are being put in removal proceeding. And they've also started increase. I don't know if you've noticed it, but increased visits for family based cases. So and then I think even sometimes there's this misconception that the emphasis is on people that are either asked of status or people coming in. But we're seeing an aggressive push towards green card holders who want to naturalize. They're revisiting whatever
previous.
Yeah, so there's a continuous scrutiny on previously approved cases. So you have somebody who's filing N400, and then they will deny the N400 and inform the person that the basis for the N400 is no longer valid, and they want to now relitigate the green card.
And by the way, the N400 is the application for citizenship.
The N400 is the application for citizenship. So you've already accrued 5 years as a resident. So decisions were made at least 5 years prior, and you're now moving forward to naturalization. And then once you get that application will be denied, or you receive a notice of intent to deny. And the basis is that your green card is allegedly sham, or they want to reinvestigate, or they'll tell you they sent an investigation to the field, and they've come back to make a determination that your green card is sham. So the whole thing is it's just bizarre, but that's what we're saying.
Any people?
Can one appeal such?
Oh yes, there's always appeal. That's why I always encourage people, if you can adjudicate your case in the United States, it's better than overseas, because if it's consular processing, there's no appeal process. Most of their decisions are final. But if you're in the US, yes, you can appeal the decision. You have the Board of Immigration Appeals, and then if that effort fails, you can go through the federal courts up onto the Supreme Court.
I think that's we're going to have to bring you back to discuss the board, because there's some issues with regards to the board I think might be worth that might be worth us discussing. But for the purposes of today, if there's something that you want people to know with regards to the USCIS and the enhanced scrutiny, what would that be?
That you should be careful what you say online.
Okay.
Because if you're spewing verbiage, a lot of people tend to want to. They're focusing on how you perceive the United States. So if you're hostile towards the United States, why do you want to become a U.S. citizen? Why do you want to remain in the United States?
What about citizens, though?
I'm sorry?
If I'm a citizen.
If you're a citizen, the process of, even though the Trump administration is considering it, but at least the process of denaturalizing somebody is a little bit more difficult than, say, a green card holder. A green card holder can be put in removal proceeding easily. And you may not have some of the reliefs that are available depending on the number of years you've stayed in the United States.
So we just need to be careful, huh?
Generally,
I think so. Yeah. I think in this present
in this climate,
no matter, even if you think you're a naturalized citizen, I tell people to be careful what you say, who you talk to, who you interact with, because you just don't know the impact. I mean, we've had U.S. citizens born in the United States being removed from the U.S.
Right.
And the case is still, even the Supreme Court ordered the child to be brought back. I'm not sure. That story just went down. Nobody knows, is the person back? We don't know. So if they have that, if they're flaunting the law to that degree, then all I can say is
be careful.
Be careful. Be careful what you say. Be careful what your views are, and be careful what you post online.
When you say online, that includes your social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of those things.
I think they even ask for WhatsApp, but I don't know the reason, but they do ask for WhatsApp as well.
Yeah, because I believe WhatsApp is personal. WhatsApp, there's a disclosure on WhatsApp that says even they do not have access to what you post on your status. So
I think with WhatsApp, the only way they can gain access is if you give them control of your phone. So what I advise green card holders, especially when they're traveling, is to either leave their phone behind or travel with a new phone. Because if they stop you when you're coming back in, you still have to be allowed to be re-entered into the United States. And if you're on the outside and you're screaming to the air. You understand? And so you have to. So most times pressure lets people do things that they don't want to do. So you probably release the phone because you want to be readmitted.
You have a right though.
You have a right to say no, but the person also has a right not to allow you to re-enter. Do you understand? So you may not even know that as a green card holder, they must put you removal proceeding. They may actually give you some form to sign at the airport, and then you just sign away and just be removed. Do you understand? So you have certain rights that you need to know about, but the key is at that point when you're coming in, your senses are not. You want to do everything, so you may want probably disclose more than more than you would normally have, and some of those things can be used against you. And I'm pleading with everybody: if your application is still pending, do not travel. Because of the way they're reviewing and treating some of those cases. If you travel with parole, they are saying that advance parole is not a legal document for you to come back into the United States anymore. Wow. So they are putting some of them in removal proceedings and making them arriving aliens. So those are some of the things we're saying.
You don't have to go. Just wait.
Exactly.
Your papers. So once it's completed, you have your green card. At least something to show you can come in. But just like she said, you are still, no matter what you do, you're on the other side of the fence. No matter how what you scream into the air. So yeah, if you want to fight your battle, be in first before you do anything. Makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense. Thank you very, very much for today and for contributing. We are going to have you back to talk more about deportation cases. So if you enjoyed our talk today, please stay. Please watch out for the next episode. It's going to be the part 2 of the immigration update. And from what I see today, I think we may need her even for more than part 2 because with immigration there's so much going on.
I know.
And thank you so much for watching us today. My name is Busayo Fasidi. I'm your host at Citizen Congress. Thank you for joining us.